A 13-year-old boy kidnapped on Sunday is still missing. His kidnappers demanding payment in Bitcoin. 1.4 billion rand in irregular expenditure. New acting SASSA CEO Abraham Mahlangu faces a grilling in Parliament. And Sports Minister Thokozile Xasa sticks to her guns, calling for the suspension of SuperSport presenters Nick Mallet and Nas Botha. This is eNews at 8. Good evening, I'm Sally Burdett. To our top story, and a Witbank family is distraught tonight with no sign of 13-year-old son Katlego Marite. Marite went missing on Sunday. Now his kidnappers are demanding a ransom in Bitcoin. Our reporter Katlego Marite, spoken to the family, is following the story, joins us now in studio. Quite a bizarre story. Kaya, what do we know of how this 13-year-old was kidnapped? I believe he was playing with his friends on Sunday.
Well, absolutely, Sally. He was playing with his friends right outside the neighborhood in eMalahleni. So then that's when he was snatched away. And subsequent to that, one of his friends went to tell his mother, and then the mother notified the police.
Let's just take a listen to his mother, Miriam, talking to you earlier today.
These people must bring back my son. I want my son, and you know it's winter. My son is having a chest problem. During this time of the year, he becomes sick now and then. And I don't think they will be able to look after him the way I do. So I just want my son back. And that's it. Because this is hurting, man. This is hurting. Seriously, I want my child back. And I want him in one piece. And I'm pleading with them not to injure my child. They mustn't do anything to him. I don't know why they kidnapped him, unless if they can come and talk to me, explain to me exactly why they kidnapped the child.
This is a truly bizarre story because a ransom note was given demanding payment in Bitcoin. How was the ransom note found? Where was it found? How was it written? Tell us more about it.
The mother said to me they just came across just a lunchbox lying around outside the gate. So when they opened it, there was this letter of demands, and also stipulating that they should pay about 15 bitcoins, and we believe that amounts to about 1.5 million rand. And of course, I mean, it's a very bizarre story. Probably first of its kind in South Africa, something unheard of. So now the police are saying that letter will be part and parcel of their investigation as they're trying to really just get to the bottom of this.
This would certainly be a first, a ransom demanded in Bitcoin. It's a digital form of currency. Is there a way of tracing, though, if you paid that, or would there be a way of paying that and no trace is left of who received that?
The experts saying, they're saying it's a very mysterious system. They're saying it's borderless, the way it works. And, you know, there's no control even of the Central Bank of South Africa. So it's a very, others are also going as far as saying it's almost like a very dodgy system because, you know, there's no administrator around it. It's somebody just goes quickly like that.
Obviously, we're now in the realm of speculation. We don't know who's behind this kidnapping. How seriously are the police taking it? I mean, it's a 13-year-old child. The ransom note is found in a lunchbox. Is there any suggestion at all that this might be a hoax, that it might have been staged?
The police are saying at this point they want to say it's very authentic, but it's going to form part of their investigation going forward in making sure that, for example, the family, you know, is able to deal with this case. And oddly enough, the police stated very clear that the moment the parent the mother went to the police, that's when they started the investigation. So the whole 24-hour period of waiting, they never went into that. So quickly, they went out and started searching.
Very likely because of the previous incident where the family was told to wait and that poor child was found dead. Is the family in a position to pay an enormous ransom in Bitcoin, which would amount to about 1.5 million rand, I think you said earlier?
Well, Sally, the family, first of all, I mean, they're really devastated, and they really don't know how even the Bitcoin system works. The mother, I spoke to her, she was saying, look, she doesn't know really how this thing works.
Right.
And even the, you know, the husband.
Would they be financially able? Are they a wealthy family? Are
they look like a very well-off family. I mean, looking at the neighborhood, it's a very lavish house that they have. But of course, I mean, they're appealing for anyone who might have information to come forward.
Absolutely fascinating story. Let's hope that 13-year-old boy is found safe. Thank you very much, Katlego Marite, reporting on the Bitcoin kidnapping. Well, the Durban community is furious tonight over the alleged mishandling of the bodies of the 2 children who died when a wall collapsed on them. Yesterday, a boundary wall collapsed on a group of children, killing Sisanda Ndlala and Sizipiwe Lebazi and injuring a 3rd child. Desinthafia reports on the families not only heartbroken by death, but also shattered by what they claim is callous behavior by those called to the scene of the accident.
Bye-bye, ma. Papa used to say, bye-bye, bye-bye, and he saw me, bye-bye, ma. I said, okay, I'm late. See you later, behave, let us go.
That was 7-year-old Sizipiwe's final goodbye to her grandmother. She and her friend, Sisanda Ndlala, were crushed by this boundary wall on the property of the Lebazi's rented room. Sisanda and Sizipiwe were apparently swinging on the driveway gate when the wall gave way. A 3rd friend was injured and is in hospital.
I tried to remove the bricks. More people came in. They tried to call the ambulance. It didn't come in time because one of them was still breathing at that time. Okay, the other one was crying, so she was fine. I'm not sure of the 3rd.
Sizipiwe's mother, Inga, was inconsolable when she got to the scene on Monday afternoon. But the behavior of a government mortuary attendant only rubbed salt in her wounds.
No, I saw that man walking in the mortuary pulling the kid with the one hand. Like a small thing, like a dead animal.
Now the Lebazi family wants action taken against the employee.
I was very sad about that.
What did you think about the way he was handling your daughter's body?
I don't know, because I started trying, then I look like this. I don't want to.
The health department says it's investigating the matter and will take disciplinary action if necessary. Desinthafia, Clear Estate in Durban.
To Johannesburg now, and an NGO looking after psychiatric patients in Gauteng has just 1 week of food left. Takalani Home for the Mentally Handicapped was among the care homes implicated in the Life Esidimeni tragedy in which over 140 patients died. But since that tragedy, Takalani has been put under new management and improvements have been made. They are now a registered NGO, but massive challenges remain. They're living hand to mouth and they're currently bankrupt. Zikhona Chona reports.
Takalani Home for the Mentally Disabled recorded one of the highest number of patient deaths in the Life Esidimeni saga. In fact, the first patient died at this center. An alleged rape took place here, as well as a typhoid breakout. And one of the patients who died here was found with cardboard in her stomach, apparently out of sheer desperation for something to eat. All the patients transferred here from Life Esidimeni have been moved back. The center is now under new management and cares for more than 100 patients.
In the ward level, we had to go and dig on our own, looking for the patient's records. We only found that they were somewhere locked. We had to unlock that doors and take out all the information. Then we can see how many patients are here, and then you start counting from afresh.
The previous management cleaned out the NGO's bank account and destroyed all records. They're currently being investigated for fraud and corruption. So far, an amount of 40 million rand in state funds and private donor funding is known to have gone missing on their watch. Fridges and cupboards are running thin on supplies. The NGO is still having to beg at local stores for food.
We were getting worried in the sense that by next week, whereby we need to have some more food around the institution.
Kumere still has a tough task ahead.
Because of the previous history of the institution, we're still struggling to clear up the name of the organization so that to regain the confidence of the donors.
The Gauteng Department of Health says it hopes to get funds to the NGO by the end of this month. Zikhona Chona, Johannesburg.
To Parliament now, new Social Development Minister Susan Shabangu and new SASSA acting CEO Abraham Mahlangu have been grilled by MPs in Parliament. The social grants agency's irregular expenditure amounts to a whopping 1.4 billion rand. And while Shibangu has promised to investigate the former CEO of SASSA and other senior officials, those former officials are not in Parliament today to answer questions about the misuse of public funds reserved for the poorest of the poor. Annika Larsen reports.
Parliament's Standing Committee on Public Accounts heard how former SASSA CEO Pearl Bengu signed off on 16 million rand for marquees, flooring and gifts for VIPs for 5 functions in KwaZulu-Natal, 2 of which never took place. How she signed off on 71 million rand for emergency relief, but inflated the costs of mattresses and blankets almost 3 times the amount they're actually worth, and millions for VIP security for the children of former Social Development Minister Bathabile Dlamini and other top SASSA officials because they said their lives were in danger. Former Social Development Minister Susan Shibangu said she would investigate people like Pearl Bengu, while some MPs called SASSA a failed entity guilty of wholesale theft. Pearl Bengu was nowhere to be seen to answer critical questions. She had called in sick. New Social Development Minister Susan Shibangu has promised to investigate people like Bengu and other top officials, but the Hawks aren't investigating, and as one MP said, there is no accountability, there will be no consequences. Annika Larsen, Parliament.
President Cyril Ramaphosa has appointed a new presiding officer for the inquiry into the disciplinary inquiry against suspended SARS Commissioner Tom Moyane. Advocate Azar Baum will preside over the hearing following an objection raised by Moyane. Now, Moyane's concerns related to the links between Judge Kate O'Regan, who had initially been appointed as the presiding officer, and Corruption Watch, an NGO of which she is a board member. In a statement, the President says he's certain that Judge O'Regan would have adjudicated the matter objectively, but he's decided it's important to remove any possible perception of bias. More news after the break, and the former president's son Edward Zuma finds that words can cost you. He's agreed to pay 60,000 rand to 2 schools in KwaZulu-Natal for calling Pravin Gordhan and Derek Hanekom askaris and defenders of white monopoly capital. The South African Human Rights Commission has reached a settlement with Edward Zuma on charges of hate speech. Zuma will pay 60,000 rand to 2 schools in KwaZulu-Natal. The former president's son called Ministers Pravin Gordhan and Derek Hanekom askaris and defenders of white monopoly capital. The Equality Court took over the matter after the Human Rights Commission found the statements incited racial hatred. Zuma later apologized. ANC President Cyril Ramaphosa is trying to mend relations between his party and COSATU. The Trade Union Federation invited Ramaphosa to address its Central Executive Committee today. Relations between the Federation and the ANC were at an all-time low last year when COSATU called for the resignation of former President Jacob Zuma. Samkelo Masego has the story.
Tensions between the ANC and COSATU seem to be a thing of the past. President Cyril Ramaphosa turns on the charm as he addresses the Federation at its headquarters. The Federation's affiliate Nahawu is at the epicenter of calls for the removal of embattled Northwest Premier Supra Mahumapelo. President Ramaphosa acknowledges sensitive matters were discussed at the meeting, but says he didn't give COSATU a detailed report on Mahumapelo.
I must say that we've had a very good engagement, and everybody is feeling very positive about how we are going to go about strengthening these relationships.
It didn't take us to the depth of it. Indicated that the report now is complete. There's been engagement. He will table the report in the NEC. He wished, that's what he indicated, he wished to meet with the alliance before he tabled the report in the NEC over the weekend.
The federations also reiterated its calls for the ANC government to ban labor brokers. Samkele Masego, Johannesburg.
Let's recap your top stories. A 13-year-old boy kidnapped on Sunday is still missing. His kidnappers demanding payment in Bitcoin. 1.4 billion rand in irregular expenditure. New acting SASSA CEO Abraham Mahlangu faces a grilling in Parliament.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Weather Center. The weather is going to be pretty quiet across much of South Africa for a good part of Wednesday, but we start off the day with a bit of cloud and fog over parts of KwaZulu-Natal, spreading northwards into Mpumalanga, eastern Limpopo, and parts of Gauteng. We will also have a bit of fog and cloud along the west coast. Then, as the day progresses, mostly sunny skies can be expected for the eastern areas. It will be fine and much warmer for the central and western parts of the country, but along the southwest coastline, we will see quite a lot of cloud covering these parts of the country ahead of this cold front, which brings early evening rainfall into the Cape Peninsula. The rain intensifies around midnight as the cold front hits our shores. Now we're going to see cloud-free skies on Wednesday for much of the northern Cape with warmer afternoon temperatures. Upington peaking at 27, the same for Prieska. Partly cloudy to cloudy skies are forecast, however, along the southwest coastline, where early evening rainfall can be expected for Cape Town, and a high of 19 is expected for the mother city. It's going to be sunny for your Wednesday for much of the Eastern Cape, with top temperatures in the mid to upper 20s for much of the province. Just a bit of cloud in places across KwaZulu-Natal, Durban, clear with a high of around 26 degrees. We are going to see similar weather across much of Mpumalanga, Mbombela, also warming to around 26 degrees on Wednesday afternoon. Mostly sunny as well for the Limpopo province. A bit of cloud, however, for Polokwane and Tawazimbi, where a warm 29 is forecast for the top temperature. We are going to have sunny weather across the northwest, with Rustenburg reaching a high of 28 degrees. Sunny skies are also forecast across the Free State, mild in most areas, Bloemfontein making it to 23 degrees in the afternoon. Gauteng will also be mild to warm, with sunny weather expected to persist, Pretoria peaking at 25 degrees. On Thursday, we are going to have cloud and rainy weather around Cape Town, spreading eastwards into East London. Mostly sunny skies are forecast for the rest of South Africa. Then on Friday, the wet weather should spread into Durban. It will be dry for the rest of the country.
Finally to the US. Now, Ronald Reagan went from movie star to president. So I guess Barack Obama is going from president to movie mogul. They were once America's president and first lady. Now the world will get to experience Barack and Michelle Obama's storytelling skills. The couple signed a multi-year agreement with online streaming company Netflix to produce films and series. The deal is the first of its kind for a former US president. It'll see the Obamas produce a variety of content, ranging from scripted and unscripted series to documentaries and even feature films. The two will also appear on screen as hosts and moderators. Let's recap your top stories. A 13-year-old boy kidnapped on Sunday is still missing. His kidnappers demanding payment in Bitcoin. 1.4 billion rand in irregular expenditure. New acting SASSA CEO Abraham Mahlangu faces a grilling in Parliament. And Sports Minister Thokozile Xasa sticks to her guns, calling for the suspension of SuperSport presenters Nick Mallett and Nos Botha. And that's your news. Take care. Good